NSS Training College, Mandela, conducting Monday webinar on the topic Life Skills, a Teacher Recipe by our resource person, Dr.Asha A.K. Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Aisha by College of Education, SNDT University, Mumbai. Respecting the rich tradition and culture of our institution, let's start the webinar with a prayer song. So I invite Shweta, Physical Science Department, for the prayer song. Shweta?
കേൾക്കാമോ? ഹലോ,
കേൾക്കാം.
ശാന്തി മന്ത്രം. ഓം സഹനാവവതു സഹനൗ ഭുനക്തു സഹ വീര്യം കരവാവഹൈ തേജസ് നാമദേതമസ്തു വിദ്യുഷായ. ഓം ശാന്തി ശാന്തി ശാന്തി. ആചാര്യാനുസ്മരണം. പ്രൗഢാകാരം മസൃണനയനം മന്നഗേഹേ പ്രഭൂതം സ്നേഹാധാരം സരസവചനം കർമ്മയോഗീന്ദ്രമുഖ്യം വിദ്യാലോകടിനയതിനം പത്മനാഭം സുദക്ഷം വന്ദേ ജിഷ്ണും ജനഹിതകരം ഭാരതേ കേസരീന്ദ്രം.
Thank you, Shweta. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Ranjini Devi Ma'am, Brain and Backbone of Physical Science Department, IQAC Coordinator, and the wonderful lady behind this webinar to deliver the welcome.
Thank you, Gopika. Am I audible?
Yes, teacher, it's audible.
Most respected principal, Dr. Usha Devi teacher, honorable resource person of the day, Dr. Asha, dear colleagues, and my dear participants. The fourth session of our lecture series, Carving Out the Complete Teacher. Today, the resource person will be the topic about life skills. Life skills are supposed to be abilities which help an individual to cope with the challenges of our life. So those person will be inspiring our teachers and our future teachers to deal with their challenges that may come across their life both professionally and personally. So I'm not going to give a long speech. Let me do delivering the welcome address. First of all, I would like to welcome our honorable principal, Dr. V.K. Usha Devi teacher. She's the guiding light and motivation behind all our programs. So I do extend a hearty welcome to Usha teacher. Next, I would like to welcome our distinguished resource person, Dr. Asha A.K. Before giving her the welcome address, I would like to give the participants glimpses of her achievements. Dr. Asha A.K. is Assistant Professor, Aisha by College of Education, SNDT University, Mumbai. And she is a Master Trainer, Communicative English Trainer, Life Skills Trainer. And the most highlighting feature, she was former newsreader in Surya TV. And she was an anchor, a very famous anchor. And she has anchored various public programs, conducted various sessions regarding this life skill training, and conducted various programs for both professionals and teachers. So she's from my hometown and she's like my sister. And so I extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Asha A.K. And now I extend my sincere, heartfelt welcome to all my colleagues who always encourage to do all these programs. And finally, I'm extending my sincere welcome to all the participants for their august presence. Thank you. Over to you, Gopika.
Okay, thank you, Ranjini teacher, for such a warm welcome. Principal Dr. Usha Devi teacher has not yet joined due to some network issues. So we move on to the next session. The session of today's webinar. As we all know that the best teachers in the world is someone who teach from the heart, not from the book. Teachers are some of the most unsung heroes we have. The topic of today's webinar is something special for all of you. I think that it will be beneficial for all the people who want to become teachers in future, and it will be of much meaning. I'm sure that the webinar will be thought-provoking and useful. So you must take advantage of the session. One more thing, if you have any doubts or questions regarding the lecture, write down all the questions in the chat box. Today we have a very special guest, Dr.Asha A.K. Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Ayush College of Education, SMDT University, Mumbai. We are really grateful to Asha Ma'am for accepting our invitation gladly to become the resource person of today's webinar. I consider it a great honor for me to invite Dr. Asha A.K. Ma'am, a resource person, for the lecture. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much for that wonderful and inspiring words. And dear students, you might be wondering where you have seen me. You might not have seen me or heard me in a television screen because I have done the anchoring and news reading in Surya TV almost 17 years back. So that's a long time. Okay. So we all love stories. They are wonderful and enriching. Shall we read a story? Can I get the slide, please? The second and the third slide. I'm going to read the story for you. It was a sunny day. Can I get a slide, please? Yes. Second. Second. And the third. Yeah. You're familiar with the story. We are going to read this story. Come on, read it along with me. It was a sunny day. The weather was too hot. A thirsty crow was looking for water. She searched everywhere. She couldn't find a pond or a river nearby. She has been flying for a long time in search of water. She felt so tired. She said, I need to get some water. I'm so thirsty. She started looking for water again, and to luck, she found a tall clay jar with a little water in it. Feeling excited, she flew towards the jar. But she got disappointed. My God, the water level is very low. How can it drink it? The crow tried and tried, but couldn't reach the water. She said, without breaking the jar or chopping it, I saw some. Help me, she said. She picked them one by one and dropped it into the jar carefully. She was exhausted, but continued dropping the pebbles. Slowly, the water level came up. She drank the water and quenched her thirst. She flew away happily. Next slide, please. I need not ask you the question, how was the story? All of us at one point of time have got inspired by the story. Now, let's see what life skills did the crow apply. Self-awareness. She realized that she's thirsty and she has to do something to find water. Second, decision-making. She decided to start looking for water. Third, critical thinking. The ability to identify the problem. She found that the water level is low and cannot reach it. The jar is heavy. She cannot topple it or break it. And creative thinking. She used the pebbles creatively, which were the immediately available resources. And the last one, problem solving. She found a solution to her problem by thinking creatively and acting in a proactive manner. So let's see what are life skills. Next slide, please. According to the World Health Organization, life skills are the basic skills acquired through learning and or the direct life experience that enable individuals and groups to effectively handle issues and problems commonly encountered in our daily life. The World Health Organization has defined life skills as the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable humans to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. And this concept is also known as social competency. Life skills bring together our social, emotional, and cognitive abilities to analyze a problem, solve it, and reaching or attaining our goals. Studies have shown that the development of life skills are critical to the success in the school life as well as the personal life of an individual, and of course, the professional life too. So, why do we teach life skills? We teach life skills because they contribute to basic education, gender equality, democracy, efficiency of educational system, promotion of peace, quality of life, and lifelong learning. In short, life skills equip students to thrive in the classroom and in the world beyond. Next slide, please. World Health Organization has recommended 10 core life skills: critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, and problem solving, which are termed as the technical skills, self-awareness and empathy, which are the social skills, coping with emotions and coping with stress, which are the emotional skills. I think we are learning about critical thinking, creative thinking, coping with emotions, coping with stress, etc. in your syllabus. Am I right? Yes, I believe I'm right. So it's not practically possible to understand all the skills in 45-minute session. So let's see a few main skills. Let's remember one thing: all the skills are integrated. No skill stands alone. Can you just give an answer to these questions? Think about the answers in your mind, or just jot it down. What is the most important skills that we need to possess in our life? That is self-awareness, being aware of our strengths, feelings, behaviors, actions. No, let it be, please. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So in order to be aware of oneself, we need to ask some questions to ourselves and answer them. It's a self-awareness strategy. It's a self-awareness questionnaire. Who am I? What makes me happy? What makes me upset? What makes me irritated? Am I sensitive? Am I hypersensitive? Am I strong? What am I proficient at? Which means, what are my skills? What skill do I need to develop? What are my weaknesses? What am I not good at or proficient at? What type of a teacher do I want to be? Yes, and the last question, I think the slide could be, yes, thank you. Am I passionate about teaching? Have I joined be a just because my parents have compelled me, or change to evening job? Or am I passionate? That teaching makes me happy. So we have to answer certain questions for ourselves, analyze what we are, be aware of what we are. That shows one of the most important skills, self-awareness. Being aware of our feelings, our behavior, actions, etc. And this is one of the first components of self-concept. Yeah, next slide, please. It becomes woven into the fabric of who you are. It depends on your person, who you are, depends on your personality, the situation. This psychological trait emerges to your needs. You realize how strong you are given a demanding situation. It's a recognition of our strengths and weaknesses. It's a prerequisite for effective communication, developing interpersonal relationships, and empathy. A knowledge of self-awareness helps us to handle problems of life. We can make meaningful choices in life based on our strengths and weaknesses or our preferences. We can initiate negotiations using the self-awareness. We are able to handle our emotions without fear, anger, or any aggressive, forceful behavior, which means we stand calm and composed when you know how we are going to respond to a situation. There are two types of self-awareness. One is public self-awareness, that is how we appear to others. It compels us to adhere to social norms and to behave in ways that are socially acceptable and desirable. And the second one is private self-awareness, how we become aware of some aspects of us, but only in a private way. We are seeing our we are seeing a face in a mirror. We are seeing it, not on others. We realize butterflies in our stomach just with the examinations if we are not at all prepared. We haven't studied well. You experience the butterfly. Have you experienced it? I have definitely experienced it. Or even you're going to do a presentation in a webinar or in a seminar. Though you're prepared, you may experience some butterflies. And feeling your heart fluttering when you see someone you're attracted to. And its heightened state of self-awareness is self-consciousness. Yeah, next slide, please. Let's see, what are the self-awareness strategies? How can we make sure that we know us very well? One of the scientific self-awareness strategies is SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. Earlier it was termed as SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. From a negative term, threat, we have gone to a more positive term, that is challenges. How does it help us? It helps us to get a clear perspective on our strengths. It helps us to highlight our weaknesses. It tells us about the opportunities and challenges we need to face, we are going to undergo with. We can work on it and we can improve our overall personality. What are the benefits? It can again make us and understand the necessary modifications in our curriculum, in our educational policies, in our teaching learning strategies, in the classroom activities, even in internships. We can identify the different areas, the challenges, the opportunities, and the weaknesses, what we have to overcome, what steps we need to make and implement. And the second strategy is the Johari window model. It's a simple and useful tool for illustrating and improving our self-awareness. It was devised by American psychologist Joseph Lufton Harry Ingham in 1995. The 4 panes, in a window there are 4 panes. The 4 panes of the window are open free area, a blind area, a hidden area, and an unknown area. What do you mean by open or free area? Open or free area helps us to give a proper awareness of ourselves. We know about ourselves and others know about us. And blind area, we don't know those problems. We don't know our strengths and weaknesses in certain aspects, but others know it. We are blind to it. And the third one is hidden area. You know your limitations, you know your strengths, but it is not known to the public. It's not known to others. And an unknown area, yet to be researched and discovered. And the most important area, your abilities, your potential, your immense qualities and credentials, which can be highlighted only if you get befitting life experiences. Such experiences can only bring it out. You only realize at that point of time. So the Johari window analysis is a good self-awareness strategy. And it's an effective model to understand and optimize the value of people. We have already discussed the self-awareness questionnaire. We have answered the questionnaire as well. There are many questionnaires available. You can also prepare questions to give it to a student to make them realize and understand their strengths and weaknesses. You can ask questions to yourselves and find out where do you stand and how many miles you have to travel again and miles to go before I sleep. You can realize that. It's a famous line from the poem, Stopping the Woods on a Snowy Evening. The woods are lovely, dark and dim, but I have miles to go before I sleep and promises to keep. But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before. So we realize that the road to be traveled is long. We need to analyze how tough it is. In order to make sure that our journey is smooth in life, we have to understand about ourselves. We have an awareness about ourselves. It's an effective model to understand and optimize the value of people. Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, has rightly said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. There comes the importance of self-awareness. Benjamin Franklin has put it in the best words. There are three things extremely hard: steal a diamond and to know oneself. Men may say it is difficult to know the mind of a woman, but women can say it's difficult to find what is there in the mind of men as well. Which means, let's go with Benjamin Franklin. It's difficult to know oneself. Knowing oneself is one of the biggest strengths of a person, so that you can apply your qualities, your strengths and potentials in a more creative way for your life success. And there's no universal answer to self-awareness. Everybody is different. Every individual is unique. The only person who can teach you self-awareness is you. Other than only you can only direct you. Nobody can direct you. As teachers, we can only take a horse to the water, not make the horse drink. The drinking process is to be done by the horse himself or herself. The same way is with the quality of self-awareness. We can only give strategies to students, but we need to implement those strategies and understand and be aware of oneself. The self-awareness is also for self-empowerment and self-negotiation. Yeah. How it helps. How self-awareness helps. It helps us to build on our strengths. It helps us to identify and work on our weaknesses. We can know and accept our preferences and make changes in accordance with it. Are you an auditory learner? Are you a visual learner? In the online scenario, which is possible, you have to be an auditory learner more. If you are not an auditory learner, you have to work on improving your strategies of being an auditory learner. How will you improve your strategy? You can note down points. You can start noting down points. You can start asking questions so that it improves your listening skill. You have to understand your body. You have to understand the limitations of your body. Are you a morning person? Then get up and study in the morning. Are you like an owl? Study in the late night. So understand your body's preferences and regulate your behavior and actions, and live with a better personality and ensure that we have a better confidence. If you have developed the skill of self-awareness, we can analyze and comment on a scenario. For example, the comment was about your session. If someone is telling you that it was a very boring session, how do you react? Do you become angry? Do you become upset? Or you become heartbroken? No, I put my pens down. No more presentations, no more classes, nothing. What do? You will analyze what were the positive aspects of my session. Where did I go wrong? Think, analyze, and make changes. And we have to ensure that our next presentation or session is the best. Don't take the comment to the heart and get dejected. Take the comment to your brain, analyze it, view it based on your self-awareness strategies, and devise your plans in accordance with it. Yes. Next slide, please. Yeah. I'm showing you some images. One is the famous dancer Sudha Chandran, and the second person is Manasi Joshi, the Paralympic badminton player. People who have realized their challenges in life, people who have realized their strengths in life. They faced hardships, but the hardships didn't discourage them, didn't demotivate them. What they did, they overcome it by working hard. Sudha Chandran met with an accident in a very early age, as a very young person, and she lost her leg. But with a prosthetic leg, she has continued dancing. And Manasi Joshi, with a prosthetic leg, she is a Paralympic badminton champion. When we complain of a minor pain in a leg, when you have to walk or sit or stand for hours continuously, think of the pain these people have experienced. Think of the challenges they have faced, the hardships that they have undergone. The power of self-awareness. It's a very powerful life skill which we need to know, apply, and imply in our life. Yeah. Now, let's deal with another skill, conflict resolution. If you are aware of yourself, you can resolve conflict. Conflicts are part and parcel of our lives. In a classroom, you may encounter situations from your students like, you broke my pencil, I'll tear your book. You didn't give me your notebook, I'll not let you play with us. These type of conflicts are always there in our classrooms, especially if it is small kids. But even in bigger kids, the ego are high on a higher note. The ego, they are more egoistic. It's difficult to manage. So how do you do that? You may face conflicts among your colleagues, in your staff room. You may face conflicts in your house. You may face conflicts about your mother-in-law complaining about a dish that you have prepared, or your husband complaining about a cleaning process that you have undergone, or your kids complaining about something in the food, or any aspect. You face conflicts on a day-to-day basis. What skill do you demonstrate here? The skill of conflict resolution. You respond to a situation, not react. We are not reacting in an offensive manner. We are not reacting in an aggressive manner. But we analyze the situation and we respond. We see the problem, we analyze the problem, and resolve the matter before it escalates. How do you resolve? You can choose to ignore it if that's best for you. You can come to an agreement with a person, or you can convey clearly and quietly what you want to convey. But make sure you're calm and composed. For example, you're stuck in the middle of a traffic jam. Someone behind you is honking continuously. Can you do anything? You can't do anything. You have to wait until the signal turns green and the ahead of you are moving their vehicles. But if the honking continues, it definitely irritates you. You become upset. You want to thrash the person. You become irritated. What will you do? It's a conflict situation. Will you get out of your car and shout at the person? Will you thrash the person? Will you use abusive words? No. You may see irritating people on your way to school, college, or office, in the bus, in the train, in the shops, everywhere. Rude passengers. Will you fight with them? No, we won't. We are losing our peace of mind if you're going to fight with them. Here comes your skill of negotiation too. Next slide, please. No one can avoid negotiations. Can I have the next slide? Let's be assertive. Let's use a dignified language. Let's be assertive. Yeah, let's be assertive, confident, and stern. But at the same time, make sure that you keep your options ready. We are showcasing a win-win situation than ensuring that it's a win on my part and a failure on the other part. Let's make sure that people are happy along with us. For example, you're going to a shop to buy onions. Onions are getting costly nowadays. Yesterday, the shopkeeper was telling me that the onions are rupees 70 a kilo. It was only 20 1 month back. So how can you buy it? Definitely, you will have some negotiations with the shopkeeper. You fix the deal at 50 or 65, which is a win-win situation for both. This simple skill of bargaining in your day-to-day life, which you do, becomes an effective negotiative skill if you can supplement it with your critical thinking and effective communication. So it is important in the classroom too. Start by visualizing the possible gains, not losses. Practice the skill of negotiating. Improve your communication. Improve using dignified language. Try to be patient and tolerant. Determine the strategy according to the type of negotiation. Be flexible in your negotiations. At the same time, be honest and sincere. Learn to read the other party's needs. That is very important. And be prepared to compromise. While we are dealing with conflict, while we are negotiating, one feeling that comes to our mind is anger. We get irritated, we get frustrated. Our BP may shoot up, but are we supposed to burst out? No. When you show anger to someone, we are creating a problem with us. We are destroying our peace of mind. Do we need to do that? No, nobody has a right to do that. So let's learn that we control our anger management. Next slide, please. So if you have to negotiate effectively, controlling your anger is very important. Why? It is just one letter away from danger, or rejections, or failures, or loss of control, or isolations in life. Especially people are frustrated nowadays because everyone is locked inside the home. You cannot meet, you cannot socialize, you cannot talk to people, you cannot meet your dear ones when they are in need, you cannot meet your ailing parents. The situation is truly frustrating, but if we keep on venting out our anger, we are inviting diseases to stay on our body. We are inviting diseases to rest on our mind. We are losing our harmony and peace of mind. So, in order to develop anger management skills, what should we do? As a teacher, you face lots of such scenarios in a classroom. Let's identify what triggers the anger and why. What are the factors? Now, let's find ways to deal with those angers. Also, we have to devise various strategies to tolerate, de-stress, and resist our urge. Have you remember seeing the movie Dr.Asha? It is by Srinivasan, and Vineet Srinivasan has acted as the son. So Srinivasan wants to make his son an engineer or a doctor. So the son is writing entrance examinations, but when the result came, the son couldn't make it. And the father is so angry, he's frustrated, and he's cursing the son. He's abusing the son. He's using abusive language towards the son. The son, who had a passion for music, is not interested in clearing the entrance. And he's also vetting out his anger towards the son. Towards the father. So both of them regret their actions later. But in a frustration, in a moment of frustration or an anger, the words we let out cannot be taken back. It's like a stone throw. So we need to show that how we are controlling our anger. Especially as a teacher, we need to be extremely patient and tolerant with our students. Our students may misbehave. They may behave in a very rude manner, in a very offensive manner. You may hear a rude comment from your colleague. You can also give back. Well and good. But what are you going to lose? A peaceful, harmonious atmosphere in the staff room. Your principal says something, you are not okay with it. You just give back a befitting reply. Are you a winner? No. You are a loser because you are going to create a permanent headache for you. You are losing a harmonious relationship which you are maintaining. What is life all about? Peace and harmony. What do we get in life? The ultimate aim of life is utilize all the life skills that we have to be in a peaceful, successful living and be happy. Happiness doesn't mean amassing money. Happiness means the well-being of our body, well-being of our mind. That is true happiness. So in order to gain that true happiness, we should learn that we control our anger. We can do yoga, meditation, prayer, music, and do any art form that we like, dance, talk with our friends, read books if you're interested, watch movies. These are excellent stress busters. Identify your particular stress buster and utilize it effectively. Get engaged, de-stress, and be relaxed. And at the same time, resist your urge to burst out. That's very, very important. Controlling your words is one of the most powerful techniques or tactics of being an effective communicator. When you know that you can say this, you're controlling and keeping mum is one of the most important qualities of effective communication, which is an effective life skill that we need to learn. Let's learn it. Yeah. Let's quickly go to another skill which we need to make always in our life, decision making. Its ability to assess available options, identify what is important or who is important, establishing facts in the situation, foresee the consequences of different decisions or actions or non-actions. If I have decided that I'm going to do the slide share today, I should foresee the consequences. Since if I'm going to do a slide share, what could be the possible outcomes? It can go smoothly. I can have a technical flaw as we have experienced now. In that case, do I have a backup? So foresee the consequences of different decisions that we are making and prepare in accordance with it. choose the best option. I believe that keeping a backup was the best option and it worked well for us. Thank you, Ranjini teacher, for arranging that backup. Then implement the decision. Evaluate the outcome of your decision. You are going to bear the brunt of your decision, be it good or bad. Don't blame others for your decision. You should have advised me. No, you didn't tell me about it. No, these are our weak strategies. We cannot blame. Make sure that we are accountable and responsible for our actions. That's why we use our analytical skill. That's why we critically analyze the situation. We creatively think about the options. Then we see all the options and take a right decision. Sometimes no decision is also a decision. You have to have an efficiency or a proficiency in taking a no decision. Yeah. Next slide, please. Can you just go through it? One of the most important life skills that a teacher should possess, the skill of communicating effectively. Our communication becomes meaningful only when the message reaches the audience or the receiver conveying the same feeling. Our communication is complete only when the audience responds to the message. It can be a verbal message or a non-verbal message. Communicating with people. It's not just a communication that you do in the classroom. Communicating with your students in person, communicating with your colleagues, communicating with your superiors, communicating with people who work below you, communicating with your people in your family, communicating with your parents, communicating with your kids. Every skill is highly important because if our communication is a failure, it creates lots of problems. Maybe our dialogues and discussions among the world leaders, even there, effective communication plays a very, very crucial role. Do you remember Sukumar Arikot? He was an excellent communicator. We do remember him for the sharp words that he used. Do you remember EMS Namboodiripadu, first Chief Minister of Kerala? He was a person with a stuttering problem, but he was an excellent speaker. So communication can touch the heart. That is very, very important. Next slide, please. Effective communication is the competency of a person to use the right words at the right time in the right context. Our words, idioms, phrases, along with the prosodic cues that we make, play an important role. What are prosodic cues? The stress, rhythm, modulation of voice, pauses, the pronunciation, expression, etc. makes our communication effective. And communication has got two important facets, verbal and non-verbal communication. And non-verbal communication plays a majority of the role in your communication. It helps us to express our desires and opinions in the true spirit of the sentence. So what do we need to learn? We need to ensure in effective communication. I'm going to focus on body language and gestures because almost 80% of your communication is your body language. Your body communicates more than your words can say. Yeah, next slide, please. They are the non-verbal signals, body language that we use to communicate our feelings, posture, your facial expressions, gestures. There are positive signs and negative signs. What about our postures? The relaxed posture. Make sure that you are sitting in a relaxed way. Sit straight or stand straight. Can all of us sit straight once again so that our backs are a bit relaxed? We may be sitting cramped up like this or we will be sitting like this. Let our necks get a good rest, good position, a straight position. Can we have a good eye contact? Can we smile at each other? Even if your videos are off, can you smile? Let's start with a smile and retain the smile. Can you nod an agreement? Can you pay attention to a person? All these are positive non-verbal signals of our communication. And have you thought about the negative communication, the signals that we give to others? Staring at people, rubbing blowing our nose, scratching our head. And in our offline scenario, we hide our palms. You yawn in public. You keep on fidgeting with our fingers. You look at the door, look at the watch. All those are negative nonverbal signals about which we need to be cautious about. We need to be careful about. And how can we give a positive, effective nonverbal signal? Maintain an assertive posture. Let your posture show that you are confident. Sit or stand straight. Stop fidgeting with your hands. Make sure that you use appropriate hand movements, not like this. The hand movements which are appropriate and adequate at that point of communication. And one important thing that we need to remember is never ever point your finger at someone, because it's a very insulting gesture. What are we supposed to do? If you want to point something or point at someone, how can we do? We can use our hands. Don't use one finger, because it's a very insulting gesture, and we have to make sure that we use this in our nonverbal communication effectively. Your eyes reflect what we want to say. You cannot hide your eyes. You cannot hide things from your eyes. Speak looking at the eyes of the people. When you speak looking at the eyes of the people understand that, yeah, she is talking to me. She is talking for me. I'm getting interested. I'm getting inspired. Yeah, come on, talk. I'm interested in listening to you. I listen to you. You are ensuring that you're grabbing the attention of people. When you talk to people looking at their eyes, you're establishing an invisible but strong and secure personal bonding when you look at the eyes of the people and speak. So ensure that we develop a very good eye contact. There is an interesting story which I have read in the book. Dale Carnegie is the quick and easy way of effective speaking. Dale Carnegie is teaching communicators, people who want to speak in public. So in order to boost their confidence, what he's saying is that, remember, if you are a beginner speaker, only if you're a beginner speaker, if you're not confident facing the audience, imagine the audience sitting in front of you are people who have come, who have taken loan from you, and they are here to demand an extension of the loan. If somebody wants an extension of the money that they have taken from you, will they be offensive? Will they be aggressive? They will be patient, they will appreciate, and they will listen to you in a very positive manner. So remember that you imagine this. This is just a confidence boosting strategy, he's saying. So this is a strategy which we can use only if you are too diffident in your communication and as a beginner. But once we are developed that confidence, never use this strategy, because we cannot underestimate our audience. Our audience is superior and they know sometimes better things than what we are saying. So never ever underestimate our audience. That is very, very important. And how do we establish this eye contact? We can just look at the audience, and there are some pairs of eyes in different corners which are looking at us in a very passionate manner, in a very enthusiastic manner. We can just catch it. But in an online scenario like this, it's not at all possible, because majority of our videos are muted. We can't see people in person. Once we are in a physical setup, let's make sure that we establish a beautiful eye contact and a good bonding with the people whom we are trying to teach or communicate to. Yeah. And the important thing is our facial expressions. In an online scenario like this, what do we see? We see only the face, sometimes just this portion. So facial expressions are highly significant. The universal facial expressions are surprise, fear, disgust, contempt, anger, sadness, happiness. According to the Ohio State University, the researchers have found that humans can make 21 different facial expressions. And positive facial expressions are simpler than the negative facial expressions we make. Then why go for negative expressions? Let's make sure that we have positive facial expressions. But let's understand the various terms to express the facial expressions. It's taken from clarkandmiller.com. Let's see whether you're familiar with them. Smile, grin, beam, smirk. Wipe that smirk off your face. Sneer, it's a negative expression. Your pursed lips, bringing your lips to mouth. Pout or selfie pose, all of us are familiar with it. We have done it many times. Jaw dropped, we are in a state of shock. Stick your tongue out. Raise your eyebrows. Frown, bring them down. Wide-eyed, you're shocked or amazed. Squint, close your eyes about 80%. Sideways glance, you're suspicious, you're looking suspicious, or you're playful. Roll your eyes. Someone is being stupid or annoying. Wink. Quickly close an eye and open it again. We are familiar with the famous wink in the movie Oru Adar Love by Priya Warrior. Priya Warrior becomes an overnight sensation with this one wink. Yeah. And give a dirty look. You're angry. Look down your nose at someone. You feel superior. And glazed over when someone is talking, which means you're not interested in the talk. Wrinkle your nose. It stings. Having a long face shows your unhappiness. Blank, neutral, a poker face, no emotions at all. A grimace, an ugly face as a reaction to something. A wince, a mini grimace. Again, neutral or blank. Quizzical, you sound confused, but you sound interested as well. So these are the terms to describe our facial expressions. Make sure that we have positive facial expressions like smile, happiness, surprise, encouragement, appreciation in our face when we are teaching out to our students, when we are communicating with people, when we are presenting a paper, because our positive emotions can radiate. It is enthusiastic and contagious. It can radiate the confidence and the positivity to others. And negative emotions can too do the same. So why create a contagious infection? Let's make sure that we spread the vibrance, we spread the radiance, we spread the happiness. Let's emulate that skill as one of the most important life skills in our life to be a successful and happy and peaceful life. Another important aspect of your communication that we need to take care of is our voice modulation. The volume of our voice, the intonation, stress, rhythm, pauses, all are important in our communication. Our audience get a good feel of the expressions, the power of the expressions with these things. Intonation, the fall, the rise of the sound and the fall of the sound. How do you sound enthusiastic and confident? With your rising intonation, your falling intonation. When you have a beautiful rhythm in your speech, it's melodious to our ears. People can listen to it. When you use a stress appropriately, the stress implies the meaning to be conveyed effectively. And what are pauses? They are oral punctuations. When you give pauses in your communication, it gives us breathing space. I can think of my next point. You can digest what I've said. You can also think of what is to be coming. So it gives us a breathing space. Use of appropriate pauses is very, very effective. When we use adequate voice modulation and expression, we can ensure that our communication touches the heart of the listener. That is very, very important. Your audience get a good feel of the power of what you have said. That is really important. And in the world of online webinars and classes, one of the most important skills that we need to develop is a major skill of language, listening, the first and the primary skill of language. Listening skills help us to understand clearly what one person is saying. It helps us to be more productive. It helps us to set our expectations very clear. And active listening helps us earn the trust and respect of our peers. We can understand problems. We can devise solutions to our problems. It helps us in diffusing conflict and conflict resolution. So how should you listen? When you're listening to someone, make sure you have an open mind. Be attentive and alert. Listen as if they are vital, very, very important. Don't be in a rush to speak and don't interrupt and don't frame questions to ask. First, listen carefully, then ask your questions. Create a visual imagery when you think of something. I do remember Abraham Lincoln was a person who was very good at using this visual imagery. So while commenting on some red tapeism in the parliament, he was saying that when I give an order for buying a hose, I don't look at its, I don't count its hairs. When we are saying such words, such things, we are remembering those incidents which is happening. Can you visualize those? Can you visualize the hose? Can you visualize? When I say that, okay, you cannot bring a hose, you can only bring a hose to the water, you cannot make it drink. Can you imagine a big black hose beside a lake trying to drink water from the lake? Can you have a visual imagery? If you can, your listening skill is improved. It improves the power of communication. Ask questions after listening only for better understanding, not to criticize. Get the feel of the speaker in your heart. Focus on the non-verbal cues given by the speaker and give appropriate feedback. That is very, very important when you are listening, because your responses is very, very important in a communication. I've limited these things from effective communication. It's a topic which I can continue for endless hours because it's a very, very vast topic and it's my forte. I would love to speak on the topic. Yeah. Now, let's focus on another picture. Yeah, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Shamir, can I have the next slide? Yeah, Shamir, thank you so much. This picture was taken during the Sudan famine. You might have seen this picture many a times. This picture depicts a child crawling towards the United Nations food camp, which is located a kilometer away. The vulture is waiting for the child to die so that he can eat it. This Pulitzer Prize-winning photo was taken by Kevin Carter, who got Pulitzer Prize in 1994 for this picture. But what he does, after taking the picture, without bothering about the child, he straight away went to post the picture. But when he came back, he couldn't find the child over there, and he couldn't find the child in any of the camps. What happened to the child is a mystery. Nobody knows. And this created severe depression in Kevin Carter. He could have acted on the scenario. He gave emphasis to his professional responsibilities and commitments and didn't show an iota of empathy to a dying child. This created severe depression in him, and he committed suicide 3 months later. Yeah, next slide, please. So what is empathy? It is the ability to put oneself into another's shoes. It's the ability to understand and accept others. It's the ability for being nurturing and tolerant. It encourages a positive behavior towards people in need of and difficulty. We might have seen students in our class who are very silent, students who are very violent in class as well. How do we react? Do we ignore them? Do we ill-treat them? Do we give them punishment? Before doing all those steps, we need to know why are they so. Behind every action of a child in a class, there is a significant reason. It's the duty of a teacher to identify the reason. By simply asking one question to the child, you may not be able to identify it. So how do you identify it? Sometimes you have to make sure that you develop the trust in the child. You have to have endless counseling sessions with the child. You need to be with the child, eat with the child, play with the child. Identify the child, his or her problems, and be empathetic towards him or her. then start offering support and help. That's what we need to do. Let's see two people. Next slide, please. Two people who are the epitomes of empathy. A person who was ready to say that, okay, you beat me in my left cheek. Here is my right cheek as well for you. This person, his care and love for the world gave us freedom. And the saint of the gutters, the epitome of empathy, who never showed an iota of discomfort when she was treating people with warmth. She cared for them, she nursed them, she was with them throughout her life. So can we be empathetic like them? I don't think we can be, because we are ordinary human beings. But let's try that we achieve some qualities from them. We emulate some values from them. We try to implement something in our classroom. We implement something. When we see a person hungry, can we offer one day meal to that person? Of course, we are showing the quality of being empathetic. Nelson Mandela, after serving endless years, more than 3 decades in prison, when he got released and he became the president, what did he do? Did he take revenge on the Britishers, the white people? No. He treated them in the same manner as the black person was treated. Majority of the black people were opposing that. If you wish to, you can watch the movie. But he stood firm on that. He showed empathy, care, just being the values which we need to cultivate in our life. And how can we teach empathy? Empathy is not to be taught. Empathy is to be seen, felt, experienced, and assimilated. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another. Empathy is listening with the ears of another. And empathy is feeling with the heart of another. So empathy, yeah, next slide please. Empathy can be taught or developed through various subjects, whatever be the subject. It can be commerce, it can be history, it can be economics, and of course, literature. Let me give you an example from literature. Here is a summary of the story, a famous short story by O. Henry, The Last Leaf. Yeah, please go through it. John C. and Sue were artists who shared same interests and tastes in art. They set up a joint studio. As winter approached and the weather got colder, John C. became ill with pneumonia. She got so sick that she believed that when the last leaf fell from the vine outside the window, she would die. An old artist named Berman, who lived in the same building as the girls, braved the storm one night to paint a leaf on the wall, a leaf that would never fall. Cold and wet from painting in the icy rain, he caught pneumonia and died. This gave John C. the hope to survive her illness, and it also created the masterpiece Berman had always dreamed of painting. How can one person be more empathetic than this? Understanding one person, saving the life of another, being with a child when he or she needs us the most in the class, in the school, being with your family members, being with your parents when they say, I'm not feeling well, being with your spouse when they say that I have some issues in office, I feel really demotivated, I feel dejected. Being with your kids when they complain that I cannot study well, my teacher doesn't like me, I have lots of problems in my school. Be with them, give a hand to them, support them, bring them close to your heart, give them a hug if you can, based on the situation. Ensure them that you are there with them. So what could be the strategy that we can use to develop life skills in our class? We can practice meditation and yoga. We can conduct dramatization activities. We can conduct discussions, watching videos, listening to stories of incidents and discussing on that. We can share our opinions based on that. We can conduct a dramatization session. We can give an idea to people. We can make them write the script. We can make them design the characters, practice dialogue. We can develop communicative skill, problem-solving skill, critical thinking skill, all these through this dramatization and discussion problems. We can assign tasks to the student. For example, I'm assigning the task of giving 10 rupees to a student, and I'm asking the person, go to a shop and get ribbons for 10 rupees. Student goes to the shop, ribbons are available for 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 7 rupees, and 10 rupees. A critical thinking, analysis of the situation, analyzing the various options given. 2 rupees ribbon is very cheap in quality. Please, we don't want it. 5 rupee ribbon is better in quality, but it is not so good. Let's avoid it. 10 rupees ribbon is one of the best qualities, but it's too expensive. For one-time use, we can manage. The 7 rupees ribbon is affordable, plus it has a good quality. You are saving 3 rupees here. So what are things we are learning by this? Critical thinking, analysis, your skill of comparison, and your skill of refusal when the shopkeeper is asking you or compelling you to buy the 10 rupees ribbon with an offer. You buy 3 ribbons for 10 rupees, you get 1 ribbon free. Your skill of refusal, your skill of decision making and problem solving. Your awareness, your brainstorming experiences in the class, your working in pairs and small groups, the various educational games and simulations that we do, arts and music, and even the assignments. Yeah. Let's do, next slide, please. Let's do a small, I'm sorry, there was one more slide. Can I get slide number 27? Yeah, before this, there was one slide. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's missing. Okay. Oh, that slide is missing. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll tell the story for you. Let's improve our listening skills also, since the slide is missing from here. The story is Birbal ki Khichdi. What do you mean by khichdi? Khichdi is a mix of dal and rice. It is cooked together. It's a dish like what we call as our kanji. A kanji with a purukku. We can call it a khichdi. So one day Akbar has offered that a person, it's a cold weather, so a person who can stand in a pond, in the middle of a pond overnight, will be given 100 sovereigns of gold. So many people wanted to do it, but the weather is too cold. Nobody can do it. But one old man was ready to do it because he was badly in need of money. He survived and struggled. He managed to stand overnight in the middle of the pond, and the next morning he came to the palace. And he said, the king asked, how did you manage to stay there? He said, I could see palace lights far away, and I looked at the lights and I stood there. And the king said, you got the heat you needed or the warmth you needed from the palace lights. I cannot give you 100 sovereigns. You are failed. The old man felt very dejected and he left. Birbal was there and he understood that this is a wrong decision from the king. Actually, the king was cheating. So Birbal thought that he cannot say directly to the king that, King, you are wrong. So he has devised the plan. The next day, he didn't come to the palace. When inquired, the king came to know that Birbal is cooking khichdi at his home. So what is he cooking at this point of time? The king became curious, and the king went there. And when the king went, the Birbal was cooking. The stove was on the floor, and on the bottom, the khichdi pot was hanging from the roof. And the king was asking, how are you going to cook the khichdi? It's at least 3-4 meters away. How this fire is going to cook the khichdi? Are you a fool? Then Birbal asked the question back, Your Majesty, if the old man can get the warmth of the palace lights away from miles away, hundreds of meters away from the pole, why can't my khichdi be cooked? The king realized his mistake and gave the money to the old person as promised. This is a story. Okay. So when you are saying this story to the students, what are the skills are we going to develop? The skill of decision making, the skill of critical thinking. Birbal understood the problem. The king was unfair by refusing to give the gold coins to the old man. The skill of empathy. Birbal empathized with the old man and wanted to help him. The skill of decision making. Birbal decided to help the old man. the skill of communication. People cannot directly communicate the concept, but he devised a novel and creative way to communicate so that the king should give the gold coin to the old man. The old man was lacking this particular skill of communication. Being empathetic, Birbal helped him. And the skill of creating the novel idea, HD cooking, to make the king realize mistakes without offending his feelings. And the king has used creative thinking in a negative way to cheat the old man. So life skills can be used in a positive way and negative way. You have really heard about the story of the monkey and the crocodile. What did the monkey do? I'm not repeating the story for you. What did the monkey do when he understood that he has quickly taken a decision? He has developed his critical thinking skills. He developed excellent communication skills and solved his problem and saved his life from being in danger. So application of skills is everywhere. We need to think about the skills and respond to it. Life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of what and how we respond to it. In a world where we are not sure how much we are going to live, let's make sure that we develop good life skills. We use it for the betterment of our personality. We use it for the happiness of others. We use it for quality development and personality development of our students. We use it for a harmonious, peaceful, and successful living. And the last slide, please. Yeah. So all the skills we gather, we guarantee through our classes, our sessions, our experiences, even if it is a failure, it is just a stepping stone to success. Failure to opportunity to begin again. Utilize our skills, realize our potentials, understand our strengths, see the challenges and utilize our strengths to overcome our weaknesses and effectively implement our life skills to be a better person, to be the best person in the world, to live for the humanity, to be humane and to be a good human being. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Asha. That was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much. Rubika?
Oh, actually, there was a mistake. The story is here. Okay. Anyhow, the story was here. Even this is a self-awareness strategy. I realized I had a backup that I have learned it myself so that I could say. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Shamil, for doing the presentation. Yes, ma'am. Continue, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for such a great session. The session was full of valuable knowledge. And this is an opportunity for everyone to ask if there is any doubt. Okay, ma'am, no doubt. So I would like to invite Manju Ma'am, Physical Science Department, to deliver the vote of thanks. Manju.
Okay, Godika. A very good morning to all. First of all, I thank our special guest, Dr. Asha A.K., Assistant Professor, Aisha College of Education, Mumbai, for her valuable words about life skills at teacher recipe. Then I thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. Usha Devi Teacher, and our well-wisher, Dr. Ranjini Devi Teacher, for her guidance and encouragement. And a special thanks to our Lakshmi Teacher for her support. Finally, I thank all other teachers and my dearest friends for making this occasion a great, memorable, and successful one. Thank you.
Thank you, Manju. Once again, Asha ma'am, we are looking forward to having you again as our resource person for the upcoming webinar. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Asha.